me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine for a winner's mentoring session. Here on Greenlight Maine, we are helping to grow Maine's economy one dream at a time. I'm Don Gooding with MCED, and I'll be moderating this discussion between entrepreneur and mentors, as I often do in my day job. With us in the studio is Gabrielle Melchionda of Mad Gabs, and we're going to help you work through a big issue that you're facing with your company. Now, I'll introduce the mentors in just a few minutes, but first, Gabrielle, it's congratulations on moving on to the next round of Greenlight Maine. Now, just to remind all of us what your business is about, what I'd like to do now is show your winning pitch, and then when we come back, we'll talk just a little bit about what might be new in your business. So let's roll the pitch. Take it away.
Thank you. 24 years ago, I made my first batch of lip balm in my mother's kitchen. I was looking for a lip balm that wasn't too greasy or too waxy. What started out on a whim, then became a hobby, and then a small business that I ran out of the trunk of my car for 5 years, until I went into a business incubator in Springfield, Massachusetts, to learn some basic business skills. I moved to Maine in 1997. Shortly thereafter, I was featured on QVC, and then invited back a couple of times. With the revenue from QVC, I launched a second product that landed on the pages of international magazines around the world, and that coverage brought our company from a small business selling only to natural food stores into the gift industry, selling to customers around the country and around the world. Today, Mad Gabs is located in a historic mill in Westbrook, Maine on the Presumpscot River. We're 5 women. We work really hard and sell products made with organic olive oil, beeswax, shea butter, and essential oils. Our products range in price from $2.99 to $8.99. And we work with retailers like Whole Foods, Hannaford, LL Bean, Yellowstone National Park, Princess Cruise Stores, and hundreds of stores around the country. We are in the midst of a really exciting time. We're implementing a new strategic plan to take our products and make them available on a much, much larger level in order to increase revenue and grow the business size. It's a 4-part plan. The first part is that we're going to start partnering with larger retailers and distributors in order to reach a wider market. The second piece is that we'll be developing a new product line to hit a missing target demographic of 15 to 25-year-olds. Currently, our product line is addressed only to the 4 to 12-year-olds and the 30 to 50-year-olds. So this new line will be targeted specifically for the millennials. The lip balm market, incidentally, is a $1.5 billion market in the U.S. alone, and it's made up mostly of those millennials, so it's a really important market for us to go after. The third thing that we're doing is we've looked at our designs, we've reduced our SKU count of what we currently offer, and we've refreshed the packaging for the existing line. That's going to help us offer fewer products to more people and increase our profitability. The last piece is we're really refining our internal sales system and our customer relations so we can better take care of our customers, which we know will only pay off in better sales and better relationships. So we've hired some really great staff. We've upgraded all of our internal systems, our technology, our computers and such. We are in a building that we can grow double, triple our capacity in the space that we're in without many changes. And so we're really poised for the growth. And we've been around for 23 years. We're a trusted brand. Year to date, we've sold over $5.8 million worth of lip balm. And we have decades and decades of learning that we're ready to capitalize on as we take our products into the bigger markets like big box and grocery and drug chain and really take our piece of the lip balm pie.
Well, that's a great job, Gabrielle. It looks like actually you have made some changes since then in your packaging.
We have. We've changed everything. Packaging, we've upgraded the formulas. They're almost 98% organic. Our website, madgabs.com, is all refreshed and new and working, so there's nothing's the same.
Nothing stays the same in entrepreneurship.
That's right.
Well, now what I'd like to do is introduce our 3 mentors, but with an exciting twist, because, you know, creative ideas can come from anyone, you know that, and it's not about credentials, it's really about creativity. And so I'm just going to tell you their first names, and you won't know whether or not they're a venture capitalist or an out-of-the-box school teacher until the end of the show, all right?
Great.
Okay, so first we have Nancy. Nancy, thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you, Don. It's great to be here. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. And then in the middle, we have Tom. Tom, are you ready to ask some good questions of Gabrielle this show?
Well, I'm ready to ask some questions. We'll see if they're good or not. Nice meeting you, Gabrielle.
I know. Well, and then finally, at the end, we have Elizabeth. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So are you ready to
I'm thrilled.
bring everything you've got to help
Everything I've
Gabrielle
got.
grow her business?
We're going to grow right here, right now.
Absolutely, right here, right now.
Sounds good.
Okay, so when we come back after a short break, we're going to talk about your business challenge because we have what we need here. We have a winning entrepreneur. We have 3 people who are willing and anxious to help. And we'll be back after a short break to talk about a very real business challenge here on Greenlight Maine.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
At first, college seemed really intimidating. I wondered, would I make friends? Would I find things to do? I wanted to do more than just learn from a book. But I didn't have to worry because I chose Hudson.
It doesn't take much to change your entire travel experience. It's more than a flight. It's the whole trip. Connect to your world with daily non-stop flights to Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charlotte, and New York City. Portland International Jetport. Way better.
Please join us to find vital information on our website at greenlightmaine.com and be a part of our vibrant community on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Together, we're building Maine's future, one dream at a time.
We're back at Greenlight Maine with a winning entrepreneur and 3 anonymous mentors, all ready to dig into a challenge to growth. So, Gabrielle, we heard your pitch. It looks like you've already addressed some of the issues, but there's always more issues for entrepreneurs. So what would you like to talk about today?
What I'd like to talk about today is really addressing the specific questions surrounding the fact that we've just updated our website, madgabs.com, and we now have the challenge of juggling our e-commerce sales and our wholesale business, which has traditionally driven the business, and trying to figure out how to attack that.
Gotcha. Okay, brings up all sorts of questions. Nancy, you want to take the first one?
Definitely. So you mentioned you have a new demographic that you're targeting. Are you talking about splitting off different ways of accessing each one? Wholesale, e-commerce, how do they buy?
That's a great question. That's a good question.
So that's going to be part of your homework to try to figure out how does the web strategy map to the demographic strategy.
Right.
Tom?
And, I was kind of wondering what the constraint is between the 2 of them. Why not both? What's the limits on your company? Where's the bottleneck on being able to serve both those, avenues at the same time?
Yeah, I think that we should be able to go after both. The question is how to sort of divide and conquer. As a small business with limited resources, you always have to figure out, how much energy to spend on each
the
for what the
resources issue.
It's your energy and your management team's energy,
Right.
I guess.
So not necessarily channel conflict,
Nope.
but just energy. Yeah,
Right.
Elizabeth?
So my question has to do a little bit with the e-commerce. Is this a new step for you to sell online?
E-commerce is not. We've always had it to some capacity, but the new website is so much, it's better. We use Shopify, it's simpler, it's easy to use. It's really proven successful right out of the gate beyond. And because of the niche markets we're in, people buy our products far away and they can't find them. Our biggest problem is our products are not readily available. So we're seeing that it's easier for people to use, more people shop that way. So how do we capitalize on that?
And are you prepared? Do you have a fulfillment process that can scale with you as those sales increase?
Yep.
Interesting. It looks like you got another question there. Yeah.
Well, it feels like you have quite a few products. What's your most profitable?
The lip balms, which is why we recently went from 180 products to 50. And we said, let's get rid of all the draggers, and we're going to focus on the right imagery, the right products. We added a few new flavors, reformulated, so really trying to focus on a smaller assortment.
It's good that you're doing that, because I know as an entrepreneur, I tend to do lots of things at the same time. Focus is a really good thing. Yeah. More questions about this challenge?
Do you do all the fulfillment yourself, or is that something outsourced?
No, we do that all ourselves.
Okay.
So I get to ask a question too.
Yes.
So what percentage of sales has been online historically?
Historically, it's been 5%.
5%. So what would you like it to be?
Ideally, it would be nice to be closer to 20.
20%. Oh, interesting. So how do they get from 5% to 20%? Elizabeth?
So I'm assuming that you've crunched the numbers and you recognize how many products you need to sell online in order to get to the 20%. But do you know how many sales that is? Are you looking for customers to buy a single lip balm and then move on, or are you looking for them to stock up for 6 or 7 months? What's your sort of thought process with what kind of buying habits you would like to see for your most profitable sales?
It's a great question, and we are still crunching some of those numbers because it's a new paradigm to really look at e-commerce the way we are. But the problem is that lip balm isn't something we buy every week or every month. It's something people buy once a year, sometimes twice, 3 times a year. So it's figuring out the buying habits and matching that up with other products that they can buy, giving them discounts and multiples and things like that. But I agree, it really does boil down to how many units, how many orders, and really figuring out how to go after that.
Nancy?
What have you found has worked well? I mean, have you done some testing of?
We have. We just did 3 promotions in 3 weeks prior to Christmas with our brand new website, and it was wildly successful. We couldn't believe how well it worked and how much people bought, and we timed it so it came up earlier enough for our fulfillment to not be clogged. I mean, it showed us a little can go a long way, and people really are eager to buy online. They don't want to necessarily have to leave the house, and they can't find our products in all the stores that they shop in. So.
And were people buying 1 unit or
No.
different? How were they buying?
They were buying 10s, 5s, 3s. I mean, it was Christmas, so there's a lot of that stocking up for stocking stuffers.
Right, stocking stuffers. That's a great stocking stuffer right there.
And because everything was new and the website's so easy to use now, people were really, it just was faster. You know, the response time was faster, the orders were bigger, we gave discounts that decreased as we got closer. So it felt like we just sort of dipped our toe in, but I know there's a lot more to be had there.
Yeah. How are you getting them to you in the first place?
Those are really just our customers.
They're already
existing customers, people that we have captured their database. We haven't even gone after the rest of the world. And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of dry lips we got to get to.
Yeah, lots of dry lips, especially in the wintertime. Right. Well, I think we're going to come up to the time where we're going to ask for our 3 anonymous panelists to come up with their initial ideas of how to address the question, which is finding the balance between e-commerce and retail, or, as we've heard, increase from 5% to 20%. So, Nancy, initial thoughts.
Yeah,
and you have to sit there and just listen.
I can do that.
Okay.
I think I go back to my original thought, which is understanding how your demographics each buy. You're setting yourself up for some really interesting understanding of how to get to each one. And even within that 15 to 25 demographic, you're going to have micro-generations, each buying differently. You're going to have some fun with this, but it's going to be a big challenge to get to them and to get them to buy more than once.
Okay, Tom?
I don't know. You know, my gut reaction to it is, you know, you've got your infrastructure and capacity in this company all set, and it's really getting those extra sales because your company seems very scalable. And how do you get that customer to your website in the first place? How do you find them? That's
okay.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, shaking your head,
So-
+1 on that.
Absolutely. And I think my initial piece of advice would be not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have a successful business that's focused on tourism and retail shops, natural products shops. Don't forget to stroke those. Those are where you're going to get your feeder customers to come. As you said before, you're only dealing with your current customer base. And then the beauty of selling online is that you can try different promotions and try different things so that you can grow that slowly over time, as well as making sure that you're staying focused on taking care of those customers that are paying the bills right now.
Okay. So we've heard from our 3 anonymous mentors. So you in the audience, what are your thoughts about how to address this challenge that Gabrielle is facing? Feel free to post those thoughts on Twitter at #GreenlightMaine or on our Facebook page. We'll be back after a break with our entrepreneurs' reaction to these ideas here on Greenlight Maine.
We help businesses increase sales. We help increase sales by providing business owners, chief executives, and marketing managers with effective advertising strategies and marketing campaigns. We help businesses increase sales by providing practical advice and tactical plans that are meaningful and measurable. We can help your business increase sales. Find out how at SutherlandWeston.com.
Hi, Ross here for Dysart's Restaurant. Everyone's having meetings, meeting about this, meetings about that, meeting about meetings. How ridiculous is that? Got a meeting? Meet at Dysart's Broadway. Look at my chart. Dysart's Broadway's got 3 meeting rooms. A big one, a bigger one, and an even bigger one. And the big one and the bigger one can combine to be even bigger than the even bigger one. How ridiculous is that?
Great food, great service, and a great place for your meeting. Dysart's Broadway.
Big and bigger's bigger than even bigger.
Dysarts.com.
Ridiculous.
I'm not thinking about health insurance all the time, but when I do, I know that Community Health Options is there for us. Whether we're getting a checkup, a test at the lab, or we're in the hospital, Community Health Options is there every step of the way. They'll help you get the most of your prescription benefits and manage any ongoing conditions, so you can think about other things.
Member-centered Community Health Options. Sign up or re-enroll for 2016 at healthoptions.org.
If any of you in our television audience has a big idea, we encourage you to visit greenlightmaine.com for a list of resources and information about starting your own business.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We've heard about our Entrepreneurs Challenge, and we've heard some ideas from our panel of anonymous mentors. So, Gabrielle, of all the ideas you heard here, are there any that you'd like to spend a little bit more time on now?
Sure. I think, Elizabeth, to your point about the wholesale being the bulk of what we've done till now, we guard that business really closely and know that it is really, we can't lose track of what we've done and what's gotten us where we are. So really that's where this conundrum comes up, is how do we take care of that with the same resources that we're also adding on this new piece to. But I do know that's a really critical approach. We have to make sure that we take care of the business we have. So what we've done lately for the new, since the packaging came out, was pitch to the, our top 50 large, big to medium-sized companies that we want to get to, and then we need to, Tom, to your point, figure out how to capture new followers, and part of that we'll do with some social media and PR efforts in 2016. But it's critical to bring new people in all the time, especially for a product that they're not buying every week, like yogurt or butter. They really pick their lip balm. So
yeah, some more thoughts on that issue? You were asking during the break on the people side of things, which I thought was a really relevant question.
Definitely, and as you scale up, are you able to measure and get good reporting from your people? You have good people with good skill sets to give you the reports that you need.
We do. I think the people, definitely. The systems still need a little bit of work. We've upgraded the technology, but we still have a software issue that needs to be addressed. We need to migrate to a new software system that makes reporting easier, but without taking a lot of time to generate that information. We need to be able to have it at our fingertips so that we can see how we're doing along the way.
Any thoughts on the digital marketing? Any specific resources in Maine do you think Gabrielle ought to be looking at to try to boost that side? Elizabeth?
Well, I do think, can you tell I was eager to answer that question? I do think that one of the great things about the fact that you are looking at different age segments is that you can find them online in different places. So women over 35 happen to really still live on Facebook. It's still a very popular place for that demographic. So you can spend some time and energy building out your Facebook page, using that level of social media to really begin to build an audience that is new to you. You can also do some marketing and advertising on Facebook, and it's relatively inexpensive still, I think. The other part is when you're looking at that younger audience, they're in slightly different places. They're on Instagram. They're moving someplace new every year. So it really wouldn't hurt to pay a lot of attention to where those young folks are right now and make sure that you're there as well, because they won't be there 3 months from now.
You're right, yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
And speaking of where we are at that moment in the show where we're going to reveal who our 3 anonymous mentors are. Okay, so.
Well, I'm Dr. Nancy Forster-Holt, and I'm an assistant professor here at Hassan University's College of Business.
Yes, and Hassan has done a great job being a sponsor of the show, hosting us at this amazing facility here. Okay.
I'm Tom O'Donnell. I'm a CPA at MacPage in South Portland.
And you work with a bunch of companies,
Work
right,
with a bunch of different companies. A lot of them are manufacturers with distribution issues, and some of them are distributors only. So.
Okay. And then finally,
I'm Elizabeth Sutherland. I have a company called Sutherland Weston Marketing Communications. We're located here in Bangor. We're a full-service advertising agency in the state.
and that's why she was so eager to answer that question. It's like, this is my world. Yeah. Well, as usual, we have a very diverse group of resources to help companies here in Maine and here on Greenlight Maine. So I'm sure that we're going to be able to have a lot more conversations going forward. Any surprises in terms of who you saw here?
Not surprised, because I really just was ready for anything, but I'm delighted. I think this is great. I feel like I'm in good hands.
Absolutely. That's the way we like to treat the entrepreneurs here in Maine. So now that we know the identities of our three mentors, it's time for a short break, and then we'll be back with some final thoughts on what you're going to be doing going forward here on Greenlight Maine.
As a leader in Maine and New England in providing integrated accounting, consulting, and tax services to clients large and small, the team at MacPage has proven to provide innovative solutions to help us better meet our clients' needs. We enjoy the people we serve and care about the work we do. The success of our business is based upon our ability to develop quality relationships, one client at a time. MacPage. Accessible, approachable, accountable.
At first, college seemed really intimidating. I wondered, would I make friends? Would I find things to do? I wanted to do more than just learn from a book. But I didn't have to worry, because I chose Hassan.
Please visit greenlightmaine.com to follow the progress of your favorite entrepreneurs and find information and resources about becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
We're back for some final thoughts here on Greenlight Maine, and I want to start by thanking the three mentors who have volunteered to participate on the show, because mentors play such an important role in helping companies to grow. So, Nancy, thank you very much. Some final thoughts for Gabrielle?
Oh, I think you're doing so much right. Very, very impressed with the rebranding and how careful you've been to extend it to your new markets. I will put a plug in for how inclusive the entrepreneurship community is in the state of Maine. My students are always looking for business plan projects. We can take a very small piece of what you're facing and perhaps maximize your small staff.
How cool is that?
Thank you.
A free business plan writer. That's awesome. Tom.
Yeah. I think going back to what you're looking at going forward, you've covered most of the bases. I mean, you've made sure the company's ready to grow and has the ability to serve customers, which really means, you need the sales and marketing side next.
And speaking of sales marketing, yes, Elizabeth, some thoughts on what she maybe should be looking at next?
So I would say be a little brave with your online advertising, online marketing. One of the beautiful things about working in the online digital world is that you can turn it on today and you can shut it off tomorrow. It's not like a print piece that lives forever. So test things, try them. If they're not working, try something else until you find the formula that really works best for Mad Gabs.
Well, that's great. So, Gabrielle, lots of great ideas shared with you today. Any one thing pop out as this is what I'm going to go do in the next 2-3 weeks?
I think probably a mix, but I would say Elizabeth's point of being brave and you're not committing to something huge with the digital world. You can try something little and then try something different and the next day. So I think that's true, and I think we have the ability to fulfill it, but planning is always a critical piece too. So I think a nice mix. I feel very well taken care of. Thank you.
And one other thing, so a fellow competitor, Kerry Gallivan at Chimani, he's all about national parks. And as I think about your brand here, he probably knows some national parks where you can sell a bunch of these.
Great idea.
So so good luck in the rest of the competition and growing your company, which kind of reminds me that for those of you who want to learn more about the competition, look at our Facebook page and greenlightmaine.com for announcements about the rest, because we're going to have a live event to narrow down our 13 competitors to 2, followed by the final 2 weeks of our online competition where you and the audience can help pick a wild card. And finally, a televised championship event where one of those 3 companies will walk away with $100,000. We'll also let you know when we start accepting video pitches for next year's competition. And remember, if you want to start your own business, greenlightmaine.com has lots of resources for you. So keep thinking big and keep the positive feedback coming, especially for the companies you see on the show, because together the Greenlight Maine community is helping to grow Maine's economy one dream at a time.
Greenlight Maine has been brought to you by Husson University. You and Husson. A powerful combination, a smart investment. Greenlight Maine would not be possible without the support of all of our corporate sponsors. Thank you. Prize money for Greenlight Maine provided by Maine Accelerates Growth through a grant by the Maine Community Foundation. Outreach and community engagement in partnership with Maine Startup and Create Week. Furniture for Greenlight Maine provided by Thomas Mosier. Handmade carpets for Greenlight Maine provided by Mugalian Rugs. Broadcast facilities provided by the New England School of Communications at Husson University.
Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.
Greenlight Maine has been a paid-for presentation by the Portland Media Group.